Just want to thank you guys for being here today. My name is Blake Rossell, and I really appreciate the effort that all of you made to be here to listen to my talk here. So, just to jump right into it, at a young age, me and my friends were really interested in skateboarding, and it was just a sport that we all really enjoyed. And you know, we'd get out there every day, whether it was in the front yard or at the skate park, and we'd be doing all of our tricks and just having a good time. Something that we just really loved. And for whatever reason, at a young age, 10 years old, I really got into the fad of it. And I needed the coolest skateboard, coolest helmet, all the name brand stuff, and it's something that I just felt really passionate about. And I remember one day, my dad pulling me into his bedroom, grabbed me and said, "Son, come on in," and sat me down, and he looked at me and he said, "Son, I love you more than anything, and I'll always support you, I'll always be there to support you in whatever sport or office or job or whatever you do in your life." But he told me one thing that's always stuck with me since that day, and he said that the day that you choose to not be Blake and to become a skateboarder or become whatever you're doing, he's like, that's the day that you'll lose my support. And so through that advice that my dad shared with me on that day, I came up with this idea, or this thing that's kind of stuck with me, to be you, to be myself, and to be Blake. And so it's something that I've always tried to do, and what that exactly means to me is no matter the situation, or no matter what things we're involved in life, to always stay true to that person who you are, and stay true to the characteristics and traits that each of us that are important to us. Now, something I think that a lot of us deal with in today's society is a certain image or certain things that we're supposed to follow. For instance, models. I think they kind of set the tone of how we're supposed to dress or how we're supposed to look. There's also other examples of professional athletes. We might be involved in certain sports and think that we have to be this good or that good to be a part of something. Also, other ones that I think about are celebrities. They kind of set the image or the tone for us in our society. How our family should be, or how we should act, or what we should be doing, certain vacations or whatnot. I think that's wrong. I think that really impacts us and really changes the lifestyle and things we have, and we're setting these high standards for ourselves when really we don't need to. When really each of us are given certain things and should be living life in a certain way because of that. And I titled that as peer pressure of society. Unfortunately, we're each pressured into living those certain ways. And I think this example of a picture, I think in high school or middle school we're pressured to do alcohol or drugs. And I think as adults or even growing up, we don't teach ourselves or our children that there are other types of peer pressure to be a certain person or look a certain way. And like the X, that's something we should turn away. We should X those things out of our lives. Now, I like this picture of happiness. I think when we're allowing ourselves to be pressured in these things in our lives, we're really restraining ourselves from happiness. I think for me personally, when I'm trying to be somebody else or trying to obtain a certain level of a job or in school, I think I'm really subjected to being miserable and not having that happiness or that joy in my life. And so that's why I believe that this be you is such an important topic. Now, another point that I thought about with being you is I feel it's really easy when we're setting ourselves into these situations where we're trying to change or we're trying to be somebody else that we aren't, or really fake. We might look into the mirror and see our true selves, but everybody else might be seeing this different person. And I believe that when we're really true to ourselves and we try to be true to our personalities and our traits and characteristics, we're able to be more real and more sincere to the people in our lives and have sincere relationships. Which, how sad would that be if for instance, maybe our spouse or our girlfriend or boyfriend, if we were trying to be somebody else that we weren't and they didn't really know who we were. So I think that's something that really can benefit us as we attempt in each of our lives to be our true self. The next part, I really put a lot of thought into this aspect of the be you. When we're not trying to be ourselves, and we're not allowing ourselves, or when we are trying to be ourselves, we're not allowing society or the different stereotypes or things that we think we should be. We're really allowing ourselves to discover the things that really interest us. And I think once we get past those, those barriers in each of our lives, or we, think and say, hey, this is what I'm good at, this is what I enjoy, we allow ourselves to discover the true you. I think, we all watch movies, we all have seen things, where someone's on a journey. They're backpacking the Himalayas, or they're in the jungle, or they're on some amazing surf trip or something, and they're trying to discover who they are and their true self. And I think that doesn't need to be something huge. It really just needs to be something simple like this, where we take the opportunity to learn about ourselves and who that person is, and what's important to us, and what do we enjoy, what are we good at, what types of tricks and things we're given. Now I have a question. I want each of you to maybe take a second here and just contemplate it. We've identified what exactly it is to be you, and what is in the way of that, and why it's important. I want each of you to think about how today can I allow myself to not be impacted by society and the things that we feel we should be, being, I guess. So take a minute and just think about that. After thinking about those things, I think the important aspect, or the important thing, is to realize who we really are. Realize what we're really good at. Realize our traits and the things that are important to us. I think another important point is to think and realize that you're an individual, that you're not, there's nobody else like you as a person. And it's something that's really important. And when we think about that question, how can I not allow society to impact who I am? You can realize exactly what that means to you and who you are as a person. I chose this picture because I don't know if any of you have seen this particular artist, but he gets a bunch of junk and puts it all together, and he reflects light off it, and a silhouette appears, and they're normally of people. And I think that's something that's kind of similar to us, is we might see something and realize that maybe we think, that that part of us is a piece of junk, or that it's not important. But in the true, image of all of it, it's really the thing that makes us up, that makes us up as a person, as an individual. I really liked this quote by Oscar Wilde. He said, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken." That's just something to think about, and it's important for each of us to be ourselves. I wanted to end today with a quote by Albert Einstein, and this is what it says. It says, "Only the individual can think and thereby create new values for society, may even set up new moral standards to which the life of the community conforms. Without creative, independently thinking and judging personalities, the upward development of society is an unthinkable as the development of the individual personality without the nourishing soil of the community." And I think what Albert Einstein is proposing in that quote is that we are who we are because of society. And I want to switch that around. I really believe that each of us have the ability to change society and the things that we conform to through the values that each of us find. And when I'm given the opportunity to change or to become somebody else or try to be somebody else, I always think of my dad's advice. And I always think of, be Blake, don't be anybody else. What would Blake do in this situation? And so that's something I challenge each of you guys to do, to really try to be yourselves and to be true to those traits and those things that you hold important to you. That's my challenge. Thank you. We got the who's in the room.